Hi, we're going to work out problem 13 for this week, which is the 2017 FRQ called Digits. So as with all of these problems, you should take a few minutes to read the problem. It's not going to make any sense if you don't do that. But there's this class called Digits, and inside of it, it has an array list of integer objects called digit list. When you create one, you send over a number, and then it's going to save all the digits one at a time into this digit list. And then there's a method called isStrictlyIncreasing, which tells you whether the number is going from lower to higher, from left to right. So they give us, examples and things. So if you make a digits object and send over 15704, then this is the contents of the array list. Item 0 will be the 1, item 1 will be the 5, and so on. And if you call it with 0, you're just going to have a 0 there. Okay, so let's write this. Oops, there's my solution. I guess you could pause it right there and see the whole thing. I even wrote a class around it so I could test what I did, but we're going to just write it from scratch. So if you recall, over here, there is an array list, and notice inside a class they say private array list integer digit list, but they don't say equals new array list. That's what we're going to do right here in our code. So digit list equals new array list, capital I integer. So that instantiates the array list. And what I'd like to do is just check if num is 0. If num is equal to 0, then we're going to digit list.add 0. We're just going to add 0. That takes care of the case where the number was 0. And now we know it's not 0, so we're going to say while num is greater than 0. So notice it wouldn't go in there if it was 0. What we're going to do is add the rightmost digit, but we're going to add it at the far left of the array list. So we have to do 0, comma, and we're going to say num modulo 10. So I think I'll run through an example after I do this, but what you remember, if you divide num by 10 and get the remainder, that'll give you the far right digit of any integer. And we're adding it to the far left of the array list. Because if we just added it to the array list, the number would end up being in the reverse order when you went ahead, when we looked at it later. So this gets the far right digit, adds it to the array list, and then now we're going to say num equals num divided by 10. That takes off the far right digit of num, and it will go and take care of all the numbers. So that's part A. And maybe I'll just do a quick example. So if you call this thing with the number, digit d1 equals new digit, and you send over 1, 2, 3, the first thing that would happen, it wouldn't trigger this 0 code. We'd come in here and it would get the number 3, because when you do 123 modulo 10, you end up with a 3. And it would add 3 to the array list at index 0. And then it would divide by 10, lopping off the 3. So now we have the number 12. And when you come back around, if you do num modulo 12 modulo 10, you end up with 2. And it's going to add it to spot 0, which is at the beginning on the far left of the array list, and then it divides by 10, and you have 1 left over, and it comes back around, and 1 modulo 10 is 1, and it adds the 1 on the left. So anyway, that shows that it's doing the right thing. All right, in just a sec, we'll go on to part B. I'm going to get ready. Part B. Be right back. All right, so for part B, we want, we'll look at the problem real quick. We're going to write this method is strictly increasing, and what it does is it returns true if each number is greater than the preceding number. So they give us examples. 1, 3, 3, 6 returns false because see the 2 3s in a row make it false, but 1, 3, 5, 6 is strictly increasing from left to right, and so is a single number. So let's see. So I'll get, let's see if I can copy this. Oh, it's just not gonna behave. I'll type it. Public Boolean is strictly increasing. All right, so here's our method. We have this array list we made in the last problem. It's a digit list. So we're going to go through that whole thing for int I equals 0, I less than digit list dot size, and we're going to go one less than the size, and you'll see why in a second. So we're going to go from left to right, starting at 0, going left to right, and we're going to check. What we're going to do is look for numbers that are not increasing, and if it makes it through the for loop, we're going to return true. Okay, so I just put the return true down there. So we're going to say if digit list dot get, remember you use get to get values. If digit list dot get I, that's the current one that we're on, is greater than or equal to digit list dot get I plus 1. If it's greater than or equal to the one that's to the right of it, you know, the next one, that means we're going to return false. You know, that 1, 3, 5, 7, it would be checking, comparing 1 and 3. Hey, it's not greater. How about 3 against 5? And then it would check 5 against 7, and it would never return false, so then it would return true. But if we had the 1, you know, 3, 3 something, when it got to the 3 and the 3, it would be greater than or equal to, and it would return false. And you'd be done. And that, good people, is the last problem for this week. So I hope those helped. Feel free to email me if you have questions. And excellent work, everybody. Thanks.